Hey there, everybody. This is Randy Dalton coming to you from R&B Properties. You ever had a situation where tenants not paying rent? It can be very difficult. It can be very stressful. They start off, the relationship usually starts off really well, right? Things are good. Then all of a sudden, maybe it starts to go a little bit south. You find yourself, payments are starting to come in a little late, a few days late, a week late, a couple of weeks late. Then all of a sudden they're not coming in at all. It can be a very difficult time, very stressful time, especially if you're self-managing and your portfolio is maybe just one door, a couple of doors. It is a significant impact to you, extremely stressful. Now all of a sudden you find yourself, they're not paying rent. You still got to pay the mortgage, right? So you're dipping into your pocket, pulling out funds, paying for your mortgage, paying your property taxes, paying your insurance. And to add insult to injury, if there's a problem with the property, you have to go maintain it. You have to keep it up. It's not acceptable to withhold maintenance services because the tenant isn't paying rent. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It can be very difficult for sure. R&B Properties has been through it many times. Come out the other end very, very successful. Today we've got systems and processes in place to be able to address these concerns, address these problems, these little hiccups. And I know it doesn't feel like a little hiccup right now, but trust me, over time, it's just a little bump in the road. So let's get started talking about what you're going to do with a tenant that's not paying rent. So let's talk about the challenges of self-managing rental properties. It can be a challenge, right? Again, I said it over and over and over again. When the relationship first starts, it should be in a good place. It should be on an even plane and in a good place. And then depending on what you do, that relationship may head in the wrong direction or be strengthened and head in a more positive direction. So let's talk about some of the challenges associated with that. Legal complexity. I've talked about it. I'm going to talk about it again and again and again. Oftentimes tenants know more about the rental laws than landlords do. That's not right. That's not a good situation. If you're in that situation, if the tenant is reminding you, you can't do this or you can't do that, that's a key indicator that you need to get some help. It can be a very complex world when it comes to legal matters. The Landlord-Tenant Board, Residential Tenancies Act, and just, every government's getting into it. The municipalities are getting into it, the province is getting into it. You've got talk from some of the candidates on the campaign trail with federal leaders dipping their fingers into this as well. So it can be tough for sure. It can be an emotional toll, right? It can be challenging to deal with these problems when these problems start to come up. I can tell you from personal experience, these problems don't go away. They do get worse and worse and worse. So it is best to deal with them right at the very beginning, nip them in the butt, right? Costly mistakes. We've had owners that we're now helping out because they issued the improper notice or they completed the notice incorrectly, right? They're having a handshake agreement and trusting that that's okay. Oh God, I got so many clients right now where they don't even have leases. There's no documentation. There's no set of rules saying how we're going to govern ourselves. Really, really bad when you've got a situation like that. So if you're in that place, definitely talk to a property manager. Talk to R&B Properties. Here at R&B Properties, our property managers don't just collect the rent. We're solving problems. We're solving problems every day of the year. Okay, and when we, need a little bit of extra expertise, we have a paralegal team that we can reach out to. It helps us greatly through this process. So let's talk a little bit about the right way to handle tenants that aren't paying rent. Step number one, open communications. Keep it open, keep it open, keep it open. It never hurts to have a discussion, even if the relationship is heading in the wrong direction. It ain't going to get better unless you talk. Share your thoughts, share your concerns, listen to them, make sure that you're understanding their point of view. I love coming into these situations. A realtor shared this with me. She believes every individual is doing the best they can with the resources that they have available to them. It's a great mindset to go into these discussions with your tenant. It really helps you, sit down and try to understand the situation that they're in, the resources that they have, and why they're doing what they're doing. It can be a real eye-opener. Step number two, know the law. I'm going to say it over and over and over again. I've talked about going through a red light. I've talked about, it's not okay to say, I didn't know. You must understand the laws here in the province of Ontario as they relate to landlord-tenant board matters. Make sure that you're going to court, with clean hands. Make sure that you are following the rules 100%. Okay. And step number three, take swift action. If you need to act, do it quickly. Don't drag it out. Remember I said about we're training our tenants, good or bad, right? If they don't pay on the first, don't think that you're a bad person for issuing an N4 on the second. Don't feel bad that if they don't pay within that 14 days that you're going to file an L1 on the 15th of the month, right? Don't be afraid to do that and do that. Like, you've got to train your tenants that here's the rules. You're going to honor them. You expect them to honor them. If they're having issues, let's sit down and talk about it. But at the end of the day, if you don't talk to me, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get that notice. You're going to go to the LTB. We're going to deal with it. Okay? And step number four, if any one of the three things that I've already mentioned bother you, concern you, you don't have the patience for it, you don't have the mindset for it, you just don't have the skill set for it, don't be ashamed, don't feel bad. Just reach out to somebody, reach out to a property manager who can help you with all of that I've talked about today. And keep in mind, all that I have talked about today, it's a drop in the bucket, right? In terms of all the things that we do. I just can't share it all in this short video span. Point number four, relationships. So much that can go into that topic. Just cannot cover it in this video. What I can say is that it really matters that you've got the skill and the expertise, the knowledge, the understanding of so many factors that come into developing, building that relationship, and how quickly it can be destroyed if we do the wrong thing. I'm going to say that we have, I say this all the time, I know far more bad landlords than I do bad tenants. When it comes to relationship management, don't be a bad landlord, be a good landlord. What does that mean? A good landlord understands the rules and regulations in the province of Ontario. It is a normal thing to say, I don't know what I don't know, but it is unacceptable to say, I don't know what I don't know when it comes to legal terms. Think of it in the sense of you're driving your car, you drive through a red light. hope to God you don't get hit, you don't get killed, but you drive through a red light. A police officer sees that, and he pulls you over, and he says, what the heck are you doing? You went through a red light. And you look at the police officer and you say, I didn't know that was against the law. I didn't know that that was illegal. Come on. It's not an acceptable excuse anywhere in the world to say that, well, I didn't follow the rules because I didn't know the rules. It's your job as a landlord to understand the rules. And if you don't have the time and the energy to read the Residential Tenancies Act, book's about this thick. It's about 6 inches by 8 inches. Very fine print. Excellent read. I recommend it highly. But anyways, if you don't have the time to read that and understand all of your obligations, all of your requirements that the government puts on you, get somebody else to do it for you. Hire a property management company like R&B Properties. Worst case, hire a paralegal when you have to go through that process to make sure that you're following all the rules and regulations. I've seen it so many times going to court and representing R&B Properties and seeing other landlords there saying, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that I couldn't do that. You know, you got to understand, you're coming to court, you're talking to an arbitrator, not a judge, but you're coming to court and you're saying, I want the system to, you know, make me whole. I want the system to make this tenant pay me what he owes me. And the arbitrator is going to say, you know, you're coming to court, but you've broke the rules. You haven't done this, you haven't done this, you haven't done this, but you're asking me to make you whole. And, you know, they're going to do the swift kick with the foot and say, get the heck out of my hearing room, right? Make sure that you are going to court with clean hands. What does that mean? That means that you understand all the rules and you're following all the rules. If you don't know what those rules are, it's not okay to say, I don't know what I don't know. Get help. Talk to a property manager, talk to a paralegal. So let's talk about some of the causes that can impact a tenant not paying rent. Number one, especially at this time, financial hardship, job losses. You know what's going on right now in the world with trade wars all over the place, talks of global recession, interest rates going up again. You know, it just goes on and on and on and on. That can have a significant impact on our tenants,